Each morning I wake up, I receive a text from the police, and I've been getting that since I became the mayor. In the last while, the text that comes in is a report of the number of shootings, crime that is happening. Sometimes there's nothing to report, but in the past, what I'm seeing is a lot of hate crimes. Graffitis, people being targeted because of what they believe in, who they are. And it's just unnerving. Everyone deserves to be safe in this city. And targeting people because of their where they're born or what is their religion, what is their faith is just not acceptable. That's in the morning, but at night, I also, when I'm home, I see uh, in the media children, children being killed, being injured, children suffering, and children being kidnapped, children being murdered, in just during October 7th. And it was just very unbearable. I recall the impact on war that I had. I've never met my grandparents because my grandparents did not, we were separated. My mom's brother died during the war. Um, I remember she tells me how difficult it was because the Japanese soldiers would be coming in looking for flower girl to rape and kidnap, to become sex slave, and then she would hide in bales of hay and hide in the at the corner as the Japanese are putting bayonet trying to find these girls, and she was a teenager at the time. Um, I am releasing the statement today because I want to focus on safety and on peace. As a mayor, I think it's my responsibility to make sure people in Toronto feel safe, and that peace is the solution to get there. So that's why I released the statement.
The statement says uh, you want a ceasefire and you want the hostages released. There are a lot of people who are saying, if you release the hostages, we'll talk about a ceasefire. Like, are you making one conditional, or should they just do a ceasefire whether or not the hostages are released?
That's up to our government to negotiate. I'm not a foreign affairs minister. I have um, no experience in that kind of. I'm a local local mayor. I can tell you about housing, but I just know that families deserve to be united with their loved ones. No one should be kept being a hostage. And that is just, I think there's over 200 plus that are there. And every day that go by, I can't imagine the nightmare that the families experience. So releasing the hostage absolutely is important. And in terms of ceasefire, well, in terms of how peace can come about, again, I'm not an international expert. I think it's important that putting peace as a priority, and that there's no more killings, and that I think that's where I'm at. Because just watching the face of all these innocent lives being lost, these children, it's just, I can't imagine what the parents are going through. So
There are people who say a ceasefire allows Hamas to regroup and perhaps attack Israel again. So, as the mayor of Canada's biggest city, you will be criticized for even saying the word ceasefire. How do you respond to that?
um, It's complex. I am not an expert in Middle East. There's so much complexity and history involved. I just know that there's a yearning for peace. There's yearning for life, and as we mourned all those lives that are lost, both Israelis and Palestinians, uh, that there's a yearning for peace. And then those that are people that are in Canada or in Toronto, they want to feel safe. They want to feel safe when they drop their kids off in the child care center or go about into a restaurant. And what I'm seeing in these hate crimes is that people are being targeted. Businesses are being targeted because of uh, who the owner is or the name of the restaurant. So, as I recall, during SARS days and even during COVID, some of the Chinese restaurants are being targeted for no good reason. So when that happens, it's just it's hateful. So I think it's important for me to say that in Toronto, there's no place for hate. There's no place for Islamophobia, no place for anti-Semitism. People should not be targeted. Businesses should not be targeted just because of their faith and religion or who they are or where they came from.
We've seen some of this activity. Obviously, this is part of the reason why you're speaking of now. At this point, after this much time, how much impact do you think coming out, offering a statement now is actually going to make?
I don't know. I just know that each night when I see more killings, each morning when I see these hate crimes being committed, I felt that I'm compelled to say something, to make a statement. As you know, last month at City Council, I crafted a motion to keep people safe, that the police are establishing safety zones, and there's resources available for people to report hate crimes, and if people want to find resources on how to keep their areas, their neighborhood, the place of worship safe, there's a resource in toronto.ca and in our website so that people know and people should not be living in fear. But that is a big part of it because I am hearing people being very fearful, being targeted.
Besides speaking out against hate crimes, the growing number in our city, what can the city do to try to curb it? I mean, we have Toronto police in vulnerable neighborhoods already visible, yet the crimes seem to continue to escalate, as you say in your reports from the police every morning.
Yeah. Well, the police have increased the number of officers in the hate crime unit. They have increased the number of investigators to investigate these hate crimes. There are resources that we have put together. There's one place where you can report. But at the end of the day, I call on Torontonians to be empathetic, to be compassionate, to remain hopeful. Don't let hate dictate, because Toronto is a beacon of hope for millions, for people around the world. They want to come to Canada because we are a peaceful city. We are a city that pride ourselves of our diversity of our beliefs. So let's keep that as our core belief that we can connect with each other through shared experience and be slow to anger, slow to hate. Let's take the time to see each other, to hear from each other, and find some way to be empathetic so we can cross that divide, because everybody have a point of view, and we can descend into a hateful moment too easily. So I'm calling on Torontonians to be the best of themselves, because I know Torontonians are very compassionate and very caring. Let's show that to our neighbors, show that to people that may not agree with us. Let's hear each other.
There's been a protest nearly every weekend since this conflict began. Do you have any concerns about anything happening tomorrow when it's a day set aside for remembrance?
Oh, I hope not. remembrance is about not forgetting the sacrifices of soldiers all these years, different war, to bring peace, to bring about democracy, to protect. And we need to honor them. We need to remember them. We also need to remember the horror of war. And no, I hope there is no hateful incidents happening tomorrow. I know that on Sunday there are big rallies, and again, people have a right to assemble and to express themselves, but please lift yourself up and do not descend into hate. Be our best and say no to Islamophobia, to anti-Semitism. Let us not target people just because of their belief or their faith.
London, England has banned protests at least for tomorrow. Do you think it would be even if they are kept peaceful and without any hate speech, is it appropriate for anything like that to happen tomorrow?
I asked the solicitor during city council in the last 2 days, what can the city do? And she have given me advice that people have a charter right to gather, the charter right to express themselves. So I did check to see whether it can be, what can the city do. She did not give any answer in terms of concretely what we can do. What we can do, and what you saw, what the chief of police through the hate crime unit came together and said, here are the parameters of what you can or cannot do. And that's the best we can through the police to talk. And I'm urging people to please remember we're wearing a poppy because we are remembering those that have served Canada so well.
I just want to be clear, when Matthew asked about potential protest tomorrow, you said, I hope not. Are you saying you hope there's no protest tomorrow? Are you hoping there's no hateful expressions? Are you hoping there's no protests that interfere with Remembrance Day? Exactly what are you saying? You hope doesn't
all of the
happen?
above. I believe there's the protest on Sunday, right? As to what's being planned tomorrow, I don't know. I just know that tomorrow my activities are to go to the Remembrance Day ceremony. I have 2 that I'm going to. And then in the evening, there's Diwali celebration of darkness being overcome by light. It's a celebration that is of hope. And I look forward to that because we certainly in this city need to look at hope and not let darkness engulf us. So the Diwali festival celebration in the evening is quite timely.
You're the head of a 26-member council, of which there's, I'm sure, a variety of opinions on this. Have you heard from any of them? Because I imagine just even on the question of rallies that strongly criticize Israel, whether they should be allowed or whether they're hateful, I'm
Yes.
sure that alone. Like,
Yes.
have you heard from them, or
Yes.
and what's the feeling from your council?
Depends on which councillors. Yes, I have. I spend a lot of time talking to different councillors throughout the 2 days. You might have observed that I walked around and sat with quite a few councillors that have completely opposite point of view. And I urge them to hear each other, listen to each other, see each other. So you would notice that in the last 2 days there was no big disagreement. And yes, there are councillors that don't want to see any rallies. There are councillors that want the city to do more on safety, on peace. There are councillors that are on both different sides of opinions. And I've been navigating, trying to bring them together so they could hear and connect with each other. It's not easy. I am a mayor for people of Toronto, and I represent everyone. So I'm trying to mediate, trying to connect, and just urging people to be kinder and in this really hard, difficult times. We can get through it. We can stay hopeful. We can say that hate has no place in the city, and that peace is what we are seeking for.
Well, you just mentioned how difficult it is, and I'm just wondering for you personally, how difficult is it with emotions running so high in the city every
That's right.
day,
Mm.
to,
And on council.
to speak about the issue with involving the war with Hamas and Israel? Are you walking a fine line? Like, how is that working for you?
It's very difficult because people are angry, they're disappointed, they feel helpless, they want to do something. We're far away. They want kids to be safe. They don't want kids to be, whether Jewish kids, Palestinian kids, there's that sense of helplessness. Yes, I have provided a lot of hugs. I have comforted people that are in tears. It's very difficult, but through it all, though, I am remaining quite hopeful because people are hearing each other. That, of course, there are people that very small number are hateful, but let us not be distracted by them, because there are real sense of goodness too. People that are supporting each other, saying to their neighbors to say that, yes, I'll cook a meal for you, I'll hear you, I will comfort you, that you have families there and you are feeling traumatized, I will be with you. I also see that kind of goodness that are just phenomenal. That is so Toronto. So, which is encouraging.
Okay, thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.